So I have this Otis elevator panel that I got from eBay and it's in pretty rough shape. The entire panel is tarnished. The buttons are in pretty rough shape and they don't press very well. So we're going to take this thing apart to see if we can restore it. First thing I immediately noticed why the buttons weren't pressing right is because they weren't using the proper button caps, as these are way too big. After removing some screws, the panel came right off easily. And I also do a brief inspection on the contacts that were having problems.
Yeah, it looks like these are pressing it fine. Try to get this.
The next thing I did was attempting to remove the bottom pieces of the buttons. However, this ended up taking longer than I thought because the screws that were holding the pieces together were completely corroded. It took me multiple attempts to get the screw loose.
This is not working.
I don't remember how long this exactly took me, but it took about maybe 45 to close to an hour and a half for me to get this thing off.
Okay, maybe this will work. Hopefully. This thing's jammed.
After a while, I was finally able to get the screw loose.
Okay, I finally got it off. Finally able to unscrew this. That was a pain.
Luckily, the rest of the buttons were much easier to remove.
There you go, that's all the buttons taken off of this thing.
Next, I removed all the wires from the panel as they were very worn and are not necessary for the restoration. Now we are going to restore this heavily tarnished panel. I did try to use ketchup, but it wasn't strong enough, so I used lime as well as salt and vinegar to remove all the corrosion, and now it looks so much better. While there's still a few splotches on it, other than that, I'm happy about how this turned out.
These pieces for the contacts were way too big. Like, I don't think these were original. I don't have ideal solutions, so I'm just going to use this Lego piece. It's not the best, but I think it'll work a lot better.
Now I started putting everything back together. First I put the new Lego pieces as well as some of the existing caps back on, and then I put the panel back on. Check to make sure the panel's back on properly, and then I put the screws back in.
Alright, here it is. It's pretty much finished. Eventually I am going to replace these buttons with different ones since these are pretty worn out, but overall, while it's not perfect, I'm happy about how this thing turned out.
Alright, so this is actually a follow-up on this project. Since the last time, I was able to get some new buttons as well as some replacement caps off of eBay. So, we're going to take these stupid things off and put these on. Now this panel is officially done.
The buttons press, all of them do. Overall, I'm happy how this turned out now. It looks a lot better, more cleaner, and even though this button is still kind of damaged, I think this is a big improvement. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.